What does it mean when a creditor has a lien filed against you? I'm Jonathan Ginsberg. I'm an Atlanta area personal bankruptcy attorney, and liens, which are spelled L-I-E-N-S, are bad things when it comes to bankruptcy, when it comes to your personal financial picture. Basically, a lien is when a creditor has a claim that has higher priority against you. And the reason they get a lien is typically they get a judgment against you. So, for example, if a credit card company files a lawsuit, you don't respond to that lawsuit, or you do respond and you lose, a judgment is issued, and that judgment then becomes a lien against everything you own, both property and wages. So you see what's happened is that an unsecured debt or signature debt like a credit card debt has become a secured debt, and it attaches to, and it's an encumbrance on everything you own. So you can see how dangerous that can be. If, for example, somebody sues you and you don't know about it, they get a judgment, they take that judgment lien, they can attach your property. So if you have real estate and you try to sell that real estate, that lien is an encumbrance, and you can't sell that property until you satisfy or pay off the lien, typically at closing. If they have a lien against you and you are working, the judgment creditor can take that lien, it turns into what is called a FIFE to your employer, and say, withhold a percentage of this person's wages to pay this judgment debt. So it's, again, very, very dangerous to have a lien. There are also statutory liens, and these are basically liens that come into existence by virtue of a statute. So, for example, there are certain, tax liens would be a good example of that if the IRS can turn a unsecured type of tax debt into a tax lien by giving notice. And a tax lien is, again, an attachment or an encumbrance on any property you own. There are other liens out there having to do with child support, homeowners associations, things like that come into existence by virtue of statute, where a creditor does not have to actually sue you to get the lien. There are other notice provisions to do that. Now, what can we do about liens in bankruptcy? If you have a judgment lien from a creditor, a typical unsecured creditor, when you're in bankruptcy, in most cases, we can file a motion in bankruptcy court to avoid the lien. And basically, the motion, we ask the judge to say this lien is impairing, or it's a lien against property that is otherwise exempt. It's an encumbrance on that property. And since it's impairing your exemptions, the bankruptcy code says that we can strip that lien away and make that debt unsecured. So again, if a credit card company files a lawsuit against you, gets a judgment, has a lien that is attached to your real estate, you're garnishing your wages, we file bankruptcy, we can file a motion to avoid that lien. That lien disappears, and the debt becomes an unsecured debt, and you basically can discharge it in bankruptcy, or in a Chapter 13, it could be paid at 1 or 2 cents on the dollar with unsecured debt. Now, when you're dealing with tax liens, a little bit different story, because we cannot avoid a tax lien in bankruptcy, but what we can do is we can discharge stale, which is old, unsecured, even if it's priority tax debt, and then we have a lien that doesn't attach to any property. Usually we can compromise that lien with the IRS for a very small amount of money. So there are things we can do with liens in bankruptcy. Obviously, the best thing to do is to avoid having a lien at all. So if you know that somebody is about to sue you, or the IRS is making noise that they're going to file a lien against you, that's when you want to pick up the phone, call a bankruptcy attorney and say, look, I've got this thing about to hit me, this lien about to hit me, this judgment, what can we do? The sooner the better. If the lien has already been attached, then we can look at bankruptcy and say, can we get rid of the lien using the bankruptcy code? Sometimes, usually we can. Occasionally we can't. So again, it's better to have, to prevent the lien from attaching than to deal with it post-attachment. So that's what a lien is. Again, it's a encumbrance on your assets, on any property you own, or on your wages. Not a good thing at all to have. It can be very dangerous. It can mean that they can go after your wages, they can clear out your bank account, they can add an encumbrance to your real estate, to your motor vehicle, to anything you own, and in theory, sell that asset to liquidate the asset to pay off the lien amount. So liens are bad. bottom line. If you have any questions about liens, any questions about lawsuits, judgments, statutory liens, judgment liens, please feel free to call me. I'm happy to answer those questions and to walk you through what bankruptcy can and cannot do when you're dealing with a lien. You can reach me at 770-393-4985 or email Ginsberg, my last name, at gmail.com. Hope you found this helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube, like it on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Facebook page, and if I can be of assistance to you directly, please reach out to me. Thanks a lot. Hi, this is Jonathan, and I hope you found this video helpful. I'd like to invite you to download my free Debt Destroyer Survival Kit right now. I've packed my survival kit with answers to the questions I've heard from clients for over 25 years here in the Atlanta area. Inside the survival kit, you'll find clear, easy to understand answers to critical topics about how to solve debt problems once and for all, including how do I protect my stuff, my house, car, and personal property if I file for bankruptcy? Are there any legitimate alternatives to bankruptcy? Will I ever get credit again, and if so, when? What mistakes must I avoid to get the most benefit out of bankruptcy? You can claim your copy right now by visiting my atlanta-bankruptcy.com website. And you are always welcome to use the email form on my website to ask me anything about debt and personal bankruptcy in Atlanta. www.atlanta-bankruptcy.com. And as always, I wish you the best.